News.
Hello there, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. The rain that we've seen through this afternoon is beginning to clear, and we will start to see some clearer skies as we head through the overnight period. And it will be a chilly one to come, but the rain that we've seen through today is because of this low pressure system, and it is slowly tracking its way towards the North Sea. It will still be quite windy across these northeastern coasts. We could still potentially see some coastal gales for a time as it does move into the early hours of Sunday morning. But elsewhere, clearer skies to come. We even have an ice warning for northern England as those temperatures will start to fall away under those clearer skies. But even away from this, we could see some frosty patches towards southern England through the early hours of Sunday morning. But for the second half of the weekend, it is going to be a pretty bright and crisp start. Once the sun does rise, there will be some nice, bright, clear skies across southern England as well. Like I said, it will be a cold start for northern England, some icy stretches, so do take care if you are looking to travel around at first thing. And we still have some wintry showers across the northern half of Scotland as well, where here it can still be rather cold and likely to see some icy patches at first thing in the morning. But through the day, that bright sunshine will continue for much of the UK. Those showers out towards those northeastern coasts will continually push their way off, and we could potentially just see some showers drifting in towards the western coast as well. All eyes will then turn towards this weather system out towards the west, but otherwise a chilly day to come. Most places around those mid-single figures for the end of the weekend. Now, much change on Monday. A large pressure system has moved in, and we do have a couple of rain warnings as well. Yellow across northwestern England, but an amber rain warning for southern Wales as well. So do take care first thing during the week. So an unsettled start to December, but for temperatures, they are slightly above average for the new season.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It is a bloodbath on the front pages of most of the national press today. The Prime Minister knew about the OBR's positive forecast and lets the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, still go out and deliver all that news. How much do they know? Are they going to go together? Do you think they can be redeemed? That and so much more in the front pages. Let's get to it in just a moment.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News. Britain's news channel. Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 11 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is Alex Armstrong Tonight, late edition.
£22 billion black hole. A black hole left to me by the previous Conservative government. £22 billion black hole in the public finances left by the party opposites.
Well, a government engulfed in yet another scandal. The Telegraph revealing this evening that Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, signed off on Rachel Reeves's budget black hole lies. That was, as the Mail are reporting, there's a damning new poll that reveals voters think Rachel Reeves must go.
Something remarkable is happening out there, and I'm seeing it across all ages. Never before have I seen so many young people concerned about the future of their country. It's great.
Is there a new unlikely alliance emerging between Reform UK and Cambridge University? I'm going to tell you why and what that might be. Also,
we've tried interdiction for 30 years. It doesn't work. They lose 2% of their profit margin. Yeah. They build it into the business plan. He says, now we're going to blow you up.
Big stuff, eh? Washington is on war watch as President Trump is escalating threats against Venezuela. Trust me, this evening, your Saturday night is genuinely just getting started because these front pages are a bloodbath. I'm going to be joined by my superstar panel tonight, former Labour Party advisor Paul Richards, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes, Ellie Wheatley, and GB News contributor and comedian Steve N. Allen. But first, before we dig into these terrible front pages for the Chancellor and Prime Minister, let's get your news headlines with Sophia Wensler.
Alex, thank you. Your headlines at 11 o'clock. Labour's biggest union donor has launched an attack on Rachel Reeves's budget for breaking promises to workers. The General Secretary of Unite, Sharon Graham, told The Telegraph that watering down of the Employment Rights Bill meant that working people were now unable to trust Labour. It comes as the Chancellor faces calls to resign over accusations she misled the public over the state of the finances. It comes amid reports working families will be £18,000 worse off than jobless parents claiming benefits following Rachel Reeves's abolition of the two-child cap in the budget. The report from the Centre for Social Justice has found a family with 3 children claiming universal credit combined with other benefits will receive up to £46,000 by next year. In comparison, a family with 1 adult working full-time and another part-time will see taking-home earnings of just £28,000. Elsewhere, Ukrainian delegates are heading to the US to continue negotiations of a proposal to end its war with Russia. Reports suggest Donald Trump could recognise occupied Ukrainian territories as Russia in his bid to broker peace between 2 countries. A US team are expected to hold discussions in Moscow next week. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has said airspace above and surrounding Venezuela should be considered closed as the threat of US airstrikes intensifies. It comes amid growing tensions between the US president and Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro, whom Trump has accused of involvement in drug trafficking, which he denies. Now, the King and Queen are deeply saddened at the death of playwright Sir Tom Stoppard, who they count as a dear friend. The screenwriter, who won an Oscar and a Golden Globe for Shakespeare in Love, passed away peacefully at the age of 88. In a message tonight, they expressed their heartfelt sympathy to his family. Those are the latest headlines. Now it's back to Alex.
Well. As I suspected earlier on in the show, the front pages are a bloodbath. Shall we go through them together? The front page of the Daily Mail. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, must go for her budget lies, says voters. The front page of the Express. Families need wages of 71 grand to beat benefits. The Mirror. I'm a celeb exclusive. My heart sank when Jess wasn't there. The Independent. Putin playing with Trump. President's former aide warns. The Telegraph. PM signed off on black hole lies. The Sun. My hell with Jade's son. The Times. Prime Minister's attempt to rescue budget after Reeves' row. Well, my brilliant panel here are joining me tonight. Former Labour advisor Paul Richards, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes, Ellie Wheatley, and GB News comedian and contributor Steve N. Allen. Steve, lovely to have you back on the show, my friend. Shall we start off here? Where is this front page? I think it is. Let's just whack up the front page of the Telegraph, shall we?
Yeah, why not start there?
I think it puts it in black and white how many people are feeling. And this is a breaking story tonight on the front page of the Telegraph, and others are leading with it now because the Prime Minister has been, the Downing Street have confirmed the PM knew about the OBR positive surplus that was reported back in October and signed off on Reeves' doom and gloom narrative anyway.
It stinks, doesn't it? And it stinks because we're living in a time when no one does the simple thing of going, let's just say the truth and see what happens. It's like that's not even in the playbook of politics now. We're living in this advanced world where you've got to do some sort of spin. You've got to try and find the best way to play it. And you end up doing this. And it feels bad because, look, it's not the first Chancellor who's ever kept some info back. It's part of the gig, isn't it? That you keep something back to pull the rabbit out of the hat or have some sort of big surprise, good news. But that's not how this one was played. This was keeping that good news under wraps to the detriment of the economy.
It's mad.
For months, people thinking, well, I might not invest there, or I won't buy this, or I won't spend this much money, because who knows? Even in my family, we weren't thinking about a holiday because we didn't know how much income tax might go up, who knows what we've got left to spend. I'm not normally representative of these stories, but even I was thinking of not spending because of it. So you've cost the economy something when a lie does that, when a potential mistruth. I think it's a lie of omission, best case scenario. This is why they'll get away with it, though.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because lie of omission is simply, we just didn't say that. For two reasons. Nothing was said in Parliament. Lying to Parliament's your big crime, isn't it? You can kind of lie in factories with a crash helmet on you and get away with it. Every press conference is for some reason in a high-vis in a factory, isn't it?
Pointing at stuff. Don't forget the pointing at stuff.
Of course, you've got a point,
The points at stuff.
Yeah, it really adds to it. Man of the people vibes. Yeah. But I think they'll get away with it, even though the front page is shocking. But unless you find the clip that is absolutely saying something thoroughly a total intended lie, and I don't think there'll be any of that if you go through all the words.
To be fair, Reeves did say that we are looking down a really big black hole, thanks to the Tories. In her November the 4th speech, she also said it to Matthew Chorley on BBC. She was discussing the fact that there is a shortfall. We're expecting downgraded productivity forecasts, all the rest. And I'm not surprised, obviously, the PM signed off on all of this, right? And I remember in the sort of midway through November, Downing Street at lobby briefing, people were asking, is there potential that actually, is better news? And they were going, we're not going to preempt OBR forecast, which was a total falsehood, because we know that October 31st, that was it. They had the new forecast, which they had £4.2 billion of surplus. So it was all a total lie and cover-up from both Downing Street and the Treasury.
But those examples are not answering the question, which is not going to be the crime that brings a politician down. And from the quotes I saw in the clips, it was things like the Tories left a black hole, this past tense language, which actually covers your backside again, because that is a true statement. You've just not filled in the rest that situation has now changed. I think that will be the twisting in the wind that they managed to do.
Well, on top of that, whether or not you believe, many of you at home, but some of the front pages here are saying that voters overwhelmingly think that the Chancellor must go. the question is also, did the Chancellor break a manifesto pledge? And, you know, when you look into some of this here, well, the income tax threshold not being raised as promised is a manifesto pledge break, Paul. So even if they managed to somehow wriggle their way out of this black hole narrative that they created, which wasn't supported in the OBR's reporting, they then got to face up to the fact that the public, 58% of the public, according to a poll here in the Sunday Times, believe that they've broken a manifesto pledge. Even sources here in the Telegraph suggest that Labour Party MPs are also deeply unhappy. They are doomed. This government, as it stands today with Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, is on its last legs, isn't it?
Labour Party MPs are always unhappy, no matter
Well,
what.
that's true. I'll give you that one.
58% of the population, about 1% ever reads a manifesto, so I don't know what they think was in the manifesto, but they haven't read it anyway. And the substantive point is that she hasn't broken the pledges because she said VAT wouldn't go up and it hasn't, income tax and so on. So, you know, in the letter of the law, they have actually managed to keep the pledges in post.
Yes, exactly. Well, listen, Steve, I'll come back to you on this one because, look, at the end of the day, the Prime Minister's now having to come to the rescue of the Chancellor.
Yeah.
Downing Street are being all tough, going, no, we think she was fair, what she said, it wasn't a lie, and we back her claims. And, of course, politically speaking, they would have known this was coming, wouldn't they? They would have known the OPR were going to release these reports, so they would have had to calculate the way that they say things. Therefore, you might be able to say to them, actually, maybe you didn't lie, but it's the way that you said it. I call it gaslighting. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that modern phrase, gaslighting, because you're young, you use that phrase. I don't really know what it means.
Rapidly getting older. I'm almost in my mid-30s now, so, yeah, don't know how much longer I can claim to be young for, but go on.
No, I think you make a really good point. I'm sure they did see this coming on some level. But it will be about finding those small little gaps in the way that you define it. I mean, like, we all know the manifesto pledge, and it's slightly disingenuous to say no one reads it. Yeah, but they didn't shut up about it. They read it for us and told us in every single interview, our manifesto includes not raising this, that and the other.
But the main beef seems to be, from everybody, is that the economy is doing better than we thought it was.
No,
is that the problem? Is that the problem? It's doing too well?
No, it's because they are taxing working people, and they promised £8.5 billion of tax rises in their manifesto, and now it's £66 billion over 2 years.
They didn't have to increase income tax rates.
But by the way, Reeves said last year that it would be breaking her manifesto if she froze income tax thresholds. Those are her own words. And to be honest, now we just realise that we can't trust anything that Labour says or Reeves or Starmer because they constantly...
That's a big leap, come on.
No, when your defence is, well, technically I didn't, you know you did.
But the other side of this, of course, is where does this tax go? It's going on to get the health service back on its feet. You know, we're mending potholes. We've got more police.
Yes, sure.
On the streets.
You are more than entitled to
civilise our society.
Sure, you can make those arguments, but as I've said time and time again, I've said this time and time again, I've said this to you earlier on, I don't mind when I have to suck it up and hear a budget that's going through that I don't politically agree with, because I know next time coming round there'll be a government you don't agree with, and therefore that's OK. However, it's the difference between being honest with us as to why you're doing something.
I don't think they were being dishonest. And I think all this stuff like about the Reeves has to go, there's got to be a general election, Starmer must go. That's not how a democracy works, is it? We've got a government
Sadly
elected,
not, no.
And in 3.5 years' time, we'll have a general election, and then the public can have its view. And in 3.5 years, the system and the scene will be very different.
But do you think Labour
MPs
somehow,
opinion polls determine who's in the government?
No, they don't. They don't. But this government has been running itself off of opinion polls, and that's the problem.
You think we're doing it for this?
Maybe they've got the wrong opinion polls.
We're not trying
by the way, there's.
I think you're working.
They're in hook to their backbenchers, and actually, there's a new rebellion brewing at the moment over over special educational needs and disability, because there is a £6 billion shortfall in the OBR's forecast, and Bridget Phillips and the education secretary can't say where they're going to get that money from, which is basically probably going to be from that package. So that's another thing they're upset about. They're obviously now upset about the watering down of I call it the unemployment rights bill, on day one workers' rights, which I'm glad is happening, but it's just constant U-turns and giving in to their lefty backbenchers. And there's also
have you met the backbenchers? They're not lefty backbenchers.
They're the ones briefing. They're the ones who voted against the welfare reforms, the ATM MPs, 80 MPs.
All the Corbynites are in Liverpool fighting each other today.
There were 80
They're not in the
MPs that were
backbenches
going
of the
to
Labour
vote,
Party.
that voted down the welfare reforms that they tried to get passed, that Starmer tried and failed to get through the Parliament.
There's no lefty backbenchers anymore.
I think the public would disagree with you quite vehemently on that, Paul. I think to say there's no lefty backbenchers anymore, maybe they aren't lefties to you, but I think to the British public, when they look like they didn't have to face more tax rises and they've been taxed because actually, in my opinion, what I think's happened here is that the Labour Party wanted to get all these policies through, and to do that, they've had to raise taxes.
Yep, absolutely. And Starmer consistently said, we're not scrapping the two-child benefit cap, and now has done it. And he got very, very angry when Beth Rigby from Sky asked him about that. He goes, I've always said I wanted to lift children out of poverty. We're like, well, it's not really about that, is it? It's about the sort of U-turns and lies and giving into... Because, by the way, let's also remember the lead-up to the budget, by the way, was also marred with leadership speculation and Wes Streeting and Angela Rayner, by the way, who's now plotting a comeback in 2026 to the Cabinet, which I'm sure we'll probably discuss more about later. So he's got all of this, and he's trying to sort of please everyone so that he keeps his job, and he's on the brink, and he's totally not secure in his position as leader, and the vultures are circling.
Well, let me just go to you on this, Steve, because, we're talking about the two-child benefit cap. Let's not forget, it wasn't long ago that Keir Starmer literally sacked Labour MPs in the House of Commons over this issue. So what's changed?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Whether you call them far left or not, we know the people we're talking about. People who had the whip removed or the rebellious sort in the welfare reform ones. We know the people who were trying to be appeased by this budget. What's changed is what? I mean... It's basically trying to appease the people, isn't it? What's changed is Keir Starmer has flipped or flopped. I can't remember which one we're on now. Whether it's an even number or the odd number of times he's done a U-turn, it makes it a flip or a flop. There'll be an equation. But the fact that, that way that he says, well, I've always been in favour of raising children, that's like answering any question. I've always been in favour of things getting better. Just so vague, isn't it? Not answering the question.
Just last year, I was kind of slightly more against it. That's why I sacked loads of Labour MPs. This is the problem, Ellie, isn't it? Is that it gets more and more difficult for the public to trust this government. And what government is there to do is to lead the country with stability. It's the one thing that the British public really despised about, and the reason why the Tories got it handed to them at the last election is that they had so much instability in the country. The infighting was disastrous, and the government looked rudderless.
They've had to sack a whole load of ministers. We know Rayner, Tulip Sadiq, Louise Hay, all these people for various scandals as well. And also, let's not forget the stuff that they're doing that was not in the manifesto, like digital ID, like the Chagos surrender deal, like the family farm tax, which you were talking about earlier. But the thing is, voters have totally made up their mind about Starmer. He's untrustworthy, he's totally inauthentic, and he's not fit for the job, and he has also no charisma either. So he's basically a goner regardless of when the next election is held, I think. And you speak to pollsters like Scarlett Maguire, she says the same, they've done the studies, they've looked into the data, they've made up their mind.
Yeah, I do think they're on borrowed time, regardless of whatever they do.
There might be a little bit of wish fulfillment going on.
No, Paul,
I'm not sure that's
listen, I have said this. I still think
you want to have.
No, because listen, honestly, and I really. Well, okay.
You look at the polls, come on.
But the polls are volatile. We're in a period of flux.
But Starmer is the most unpopular PM in history, and Rachel Reeves is the most
unpopular in history. Every single Prime Minister gets that accolade.
I don't think so. I don't think Rishi Sunak was more unpopular than Truss or Boris Johnson or likewise.
She also had time to do a survey with Liz Truss. There was no way they had the data on how unpopular.
She didn't get a chance to
send the letters back.
No, that's right. I mean, maybe just imagine this, OK? Maybe they are actually genuinely trying to tackle child poverty. And there's no political sort of shenanigans. It's a genuine desire to do something
But the problem is they should have just simply said, look, we can do it now because we've got extra money. And the problem is they're burying the lead on having extra money. This is what this story is about. It's saying, we're going to tax you because things are so bad. Then we find out it's not so bad. And your argument is to go, but look at what they're spending on, it's good. It's still, the problem is, you were leading us, you were misdirecting us, to try and use some nice euphemism on it.
Yeah, no, this is it, right? It's not about what the context inside the budget was. I think this budget actually might have gone down okay if people weren't gaslit before it, and it's the fallout of it all afterwards that's really wound people up.
Chaotic.
It was chaotic before, it's been chaotic after. And that is the narrative at the moment. Let's see if the Chancellor can survive the next few weeks, shall we? But loads more, and I promise you we'll get to more stories now, because you might be sick of hearing that one. Loads more to come shortly. But before that, we've got the Great British Giveaway, a new one for you. It's your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date, an incredible 85 grand in tax-free cash. Could be yours in the new year. Here's all the details.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays. Yes to treats. Yes to shopping trips. Yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Coming up, we'll have news of an explosive new poll as voters have their say on whether Rachel Reeves should lose her job. Plus, why have Cambridge and Reform UK teamed up? Very interesting times, isn't it, we live in? This is Alex Armstrong tonight. Loads more front pages to bring you very shortly.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Meghan coaching the world on keeping relationships warm is a plot twist. I mean, she treats relationships like seasonal decorations. They're out by January. I think that this is such a joke. But this ultimately, we know that this exists because she's trying to drive traffic to the retail arm, which is As Ever. But how successful truly is As Ever, and how much does Netflix really believe in As Ever when they're not even featuring her products in their upcoming pop-up stores this season?
And genuinely, it kind of pains me to attack other women publicly. It's not something I make a habit of. And I've tried with her. I've tried. I was so happy on the wedding day, and I really wanted her to be successful. But she has tested the patience of everybody watching from this country. We just wanted to do something of meaning and substance. And what I wanted her to only ever do, Kinsey, was be an actress, because she was actually really blooming good at that. She's really good in Suits. She should just go back to acting, shouldn't she, and stop trying to be this lifestyle guru.
If she was that good at acting, we wouldn't be so offended by her lifestyle pursuits, really. But, you know, I think I'm with you. I loved Meghan Markle. In fact, my first podcast was called In Defense of Meghan Markle. That didn't last very long. I think the reason that you and I are frustrated by her is because she looks to be destructive towards the British royal family, to critique the British royal family, to tear them down, but also wants the perks, continues to utilize that title, and continues to utilize that proximity to create professional opportunities for herself and to monetize her lifestyle. And that's not fair. If these people are so terrible that on Christmas Day, you won't be speaking to them or your own family.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back back to Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. We've been reading some of your says here, and I want to bring one special one to you. This was aimed to you, Paul, actually. Cassandra says, Paul admitted he was a member of the Fabian Society, yeah, those sneaky Fabians, a society that believes in introducing socialism, brackets Marxism, by stealth. What do you have to say, Paul?
Well, it's not very secret because we've got a massive website with our AGM in Cardiff the other day. All of the members are on the website. You can see who we are. Fabian socialism is the opposite of Marxism. We don't believe in revolution. We believe in evolution. So it's a very different thing. But, come and enjoy the Fabians, see our debates, read our pamphlets, take part in our discussions. You're very welcome.
And you're no just member, are you? You're one of the top dogs.
Well, I used to be the chair. And now I'm the treasurer of the Fabian Society.
You're the Rachel Reeves of the Fabian Society, aren't you?
So
will you resign, Chancellor?
If the Fabians are secretly running the government, then I'm the treasurer of the organisation secretly running the government.
Well, actually, do you know what? That would explain a hell of a lot, wouldn't it? Anne says, stop using the NHS as a scapegoat for robbing and lying to us. This money has gone on welfare and minimum wage increases. David says this Labour thinks that nobody bothers to read their manifesto. Why bother to produce one? Freddie says, no, Paul, we do read the manifesto. Believe me, we do. There you go. Lots of your says coming in there. We'll read some more for you. But of course, if you are thinking of getting involved and getting your comments read out here on GB News, there's a brand new way to take part in the conversation by becoming a friend of GB News for free. Take a look.
Join the community and be part of our shows by becoming a friend of GB News. Get a direct line to join the conversations that you hear us talking about every day in our programmes by commenting on your say and voting in You Decide polls. Access opinion, analysis and behind-the-scenes videos as we share more from the stories that you see on TV and radio. Plus, watch our shows live and on catch-up anywhere, anytime. If you love our channel, become a friend of GB News for free by scanning the QR code or going to gbnews.com/friend. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be a part of them.
Yeah, just one more you'll say here, because we're having a lot of fun in the studio. Susanna says, no thanks, Paul, I'll pass on your offer. There you go.
You can say I tried, at least I tried.
Yeah, you tried, Paul, you tried. You might have convinced one person, you never know. Right, anyway, let's get more on the big stories in tomorrow's papers with journalist and broadcaster Andy Jones. Andy, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Lovely to see you. There's been a new poll, hasn't there? Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, it's more bad news for Rachel Reeves, and not surprisingly, a Mail on Sunday poll has found 67% of the public think that she should resign, and another chunk of the public think that the Labour government isn't going to last until the next election. They're talking again about did she lie to the public about this latest revelation about the $4 billion black hole that wasn't really a black hole. Instead, actually, I think many people just want her to resign because they think she's been deceitful, full stop. I don't think it's necessarily about the lies this week. Just in the last month, we've heard about her talking about a golden age of leisure and hospitality, and yet she's whacked horrendous business rates on struggling businesses. A lot of pubs and bars and things on social media saying that they need to find £10,000-20,000 a year just to stay afloat because of changes Rachel Reeves has made. And I think people have just had enough. And when we talk about whether or not they think she's lied on this issue, I think she's just deceitful in general. I think half the nation thinks she's a liar. I think 90% of the country thinks she's incompetent. And I think the only reason why people don't think she should go is they worry that David Lammy or someone even worse might take over.
Well, that's the risk, isn't it? Is that it's kind of almost better the devil you know than the devil you don't in this case. And we always wish for a change in leadership, don't we, Andy? But then sometimes we end up regretting it after all. Do you think the Prime Minister's attempts to sort of back the Chancellor on this are going to change her fortunes in any way?
Not really. I think their fortunes are absolutely tied together now. Your panel was talking quite rightly there a moment ago about their wafer-thin manifesto, and they've absolutely abandoned absolutely everything in it. Instead, we've had ID cards, we've had a definition for Islamophobia, we've had getting rid of trial by jury, we've had an obsession with global politics and absolutely no interest in anything that's going on in Britain. And of course, we've had the performance with the Chagos Islands, and most people didn't even know what the Chagos Islands were 5 years ago. Just a few short months ago, Keir Starmer was saying that he wouldn't bring back the two-child rule. Wouldn't break the two-child rule. It was too expensive, and now he's boasting that he's brought 400,000 children out of poverty. Well, I say to the Prime Minister, it's not you that's brought them out of poverty. It's the middle-earning taxpayers like myself and people on the panel and people who are watching who is going to be doing that hard work for him. And he said a few months ago that the benefit system was broken, and now he said he can't find a single pound anywhere to cut from there. Of course, that's nothing to do with upsetting his backbenchers who stopped him at the first hurdle just a few months ago. This seems to be a government that's run out of ideas and has run out of any sort of forward momentum. Have they lied about this? Did they lie last week? I think people can pick and choose the many lies that they've made already.
There we have it. Andy, let's also go to this interesting story that caught your eye in the Sunday Times on the front page here. Universities cozying up to reform. Are they a little scared of something, Andy, perhaps?
I think they've certainly seen the change in the weather. And Nigel Farage, obviously there's been a few pokes in the eye for Nigel over the last week, but his Reform Party is leading the polls very much so. And universities keen to gather funding, but more than that, make sure that they can retain influence, are grasping after reform. I think that the scare isn't necessarily that they're going to lose money. I think a lot of these universities, I was reading Trinity College, just one of the facilities at the faculties at Cambridge University, has got $1.5 billion in funds. They take hundreds of millions of pounds from the Chinese government, which of course they would never dream of criticising the Chinese government. Qatar, United Arab Emirates and similar, they are concerned more than losing funding that Nigel Farage will do what Donald Trump has done in America and start cutting back and attacking them for anything from their, the inability to let certain speakers speak at university, some of the hideous protests we've seen, horrendous anti-Semitic protests we've seen on both sides of the pond, and more than that, rein in some of their liberal views and liberal ways, as Donald Trump has done in America. I don't think this is necessarily just about finance. I think this is protecting the universities themselves and the way that they're run.
Yeah, very interesting, isn't it, Andy, that institutions that may have been, let's say, anti-Nigel Farage or anti-reform now pivoting because they're worried about them in the polls. Thank you for bringing us to the insight on those very important front pages. That's journalist and broadcaster Andy Jones. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Andy. I'll bring this out to my panel now. I want to stay with this story about universities cozying up to Reform UK. Steve, just reading on a little bit here on this front page for the audience's sake, the Vice-Chancellor of Cambridge has said her university is trying to build bridges with Reform UK amid fears of a Trump-style backlash against elite institutions if Nigel Farage's party forms the next government.
Do you know what? It's almost like these university types aren't dumb. They've done a bit of thinking on this one. Do you know
Finally?
I actually, to give some benefit of the doubt on this, or maybe even credit where it's due, these are people who should be actually in favour of keeping connections with all political parties. Maybe they've caught up with the fact that they had a little bit of bias in there. Their idea of free speech was too mixed in with their own bias, and therefore they thought, oh, here's a party you should just always go. The knee-jerk reaction is to mock. No, listen, and, it's not actually about Nigel Farage, really, is it? It's about reaching out to the people who would vote for Nigel Farage. Yeah. Stay connected to those people. If you want to be a university that can have people come along there and hear ideas that might challenge them, which is the whole purpose of trying to learn, isn't it? You can't genuinely learn a thing if you never hear something you might not like. So hopefully that's changing. I will also say, if you don't do a science, you're doing a hobby. So that's...
That's fair enough. Yeah. I better chuck that money I spent on my degree down the drain. Might as well have done it anyway, to be honest with you. Yeah, Ellie, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Trump backlash at universities in America becomes because the American government does substitute and fund them in some way. We do that here in the United Kingdom too. And you can understand why organisations like Reform UK, parties like Reform UK, might turn around and say, well, actually, are you just funding propaganda against my party? We do see some of the attacks on free speech on university campuses. So this is quite an interesting preemptive move.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just are they worried, would Farage be worried about Cambridge or Oxford attacking them? It's attacking the idea of free speech. And as you were saying, it's crucial, fundamental to learning and debating, to not fear of other people offending other people or being offended yourself. And there has been, in the last few years, a lot of backlash over particularly Oxford and Cambridge and these elite universities of being actually just liberal elite, cracking down on free speech. Even when I was at Durham, there was a bit of that. And so it's really good to see this. But I would say, you know, it's not just the universities cozying up to reform. A lot of lobbyists, a lot of banks have been, apparently they've been speaking to reform and their advisors because they are very high up in the polls. And although you were talking earlier about Kemi doing really well at the dispatch box on Wednesday, most people in the country still don't trust the Tories. They're only mid to mid to high teens in the polls, and even the majority of Tory members think that Farage is likely to be the next PM. So, you know, there is definitely a possibility that reform come into power in the next election, and it's right that the universities are going, oh, better straighten up, better listen, better fix up. Yeah. Absolutely, because, you know, these are the people that go into the civil service, they run our countries, etc. So, yeah, it's a good thing.
Very brief comment from you, Paul.
I think the chances of Farage being next Prime Minister are so minimal, you know, mathematically, to go from 5 MPs to 326 MPs in one go. If it happens, I'll come onto GB News and eat my own hat.
Well, we're going to have to buy you a hat.
On the other hand,
I'll be ready.
On the other hand, universities should be open to all ideas. It should be a place for free exchange of ideas and discourse, and they shouldn't shut that down. So, good.
All right, well, listen, clip that up. Remind me when or if Reform win the next general election, and I'll buy a hat for Paul to eat it live on GB News. It'll be sensational for the show, wouldn't it? All right, everybody, listen, we've got a very exciting event. We want you to join us for Christmas, because on Saturday, the 13th of December, you can join us, the GB News family, for our Carols by Candlelight concert. You can join us in the carols by scanning the QR code on the screen right now, or go to gbnews.com/carols. We're also going to broadcast it live on Christmas Eve, coming up next.
We've tried interdiction for 30 years. It doesn't work. They lose 2% of their profit margin. Yeah. They build it into the business plan. He says, now we're going to blow you up.
Well, is it going to be another war? Because Washington looks like it's on a war watch at the moment as President Trump escalates threats against Venezuela. We'll be crossing live to my good friend Ben Leo in Washington, D.C. next. This is Alex Armstrong Tonight Late Edition.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. If you're heading away this weekend, it is actually looking fairly unsettled across parts of Europe and definitely cooler than usual. Across the Canary Islands, a risk of showers throughout the weekend and into next week. Temperatures around 18 or 19 degrees. A little bit cooler than usual across parts of Spain and Italy, just around 12 or 14 degrees. And some wet weather is pushing into parts of Greece. But actually, more eastern areas of Greece should stay relatively dry, so plenty of sunshine to come for Santorini. See you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. The rain that we've seen through this afternoon is beginning to clear, and we will start to see some clearer skies as we head through the overnight period, and it will be a chilly one to come. But the rain that we've seen through today is because of this low pressure system, and it is slowly tracking its way towards the North Sea. It will still be quite windy across these northeastern coasts. We could still potentially see some coastal gales for a time as it does move into the early hours of Sunday morning. But elsewhere, clearer skies to come. We even have an ice warning for northern England as those temperatures will start to fall away under those clearer skies. But even away from this, we could see some frosty patches towards southern England through the early hours of Sunday morning. But for the second half of the weekend, it is going to be a pretty bright and crisp start. Once the sun does rise, there will be some nice, bright, clear skies across southern England as well. Like I said, it will be a cold start for northern England, some icy stretches, so do take care if you are looking to travel around at first thing. And we still have some wintry showers across the northern half of Scotland as well, where here it can still be rather cold and likely to see some icy patches at first thing in the morning. But through the day, that bright sunshine will continue for much of the UK. Those showers out towards those northeastern coasts will continually push their way off, and we could potentially just see some showers drifting in towards the western coast as well. All eyes will then turn towards this weather system out towards the west, but otherwise a chilly day to come. Most places around those mid-single figures for the end of the weekend. Now, much change on Monday. A large pressure system has moved in, and we do have a couple of rain warnings as well. Yellow across northwestern England, but an amber rain warning for southern Wales as well. So do take care first thing during the week. So an unsettled start to December, but for temperatures, they are slightly above average for the new season.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. What a show it's been tonight. The stories are just really hot, aren't they, in the press today? And talking of very hot and heated things, there could be a war brewing between the United States of America and Venezuela. And to talk about this, there's no one I'd rather trust more with this story. Ben, Leo, we're going to cross live to Washington, D.C. Ben, we could be seeing the start of a war between Venezuela and the United States of America. How much should we trust this news? Do you think it's just a lot of bravado coming from two quite strong male leaders? Go on, take it from here, mate.
How much should we trust it? First of all, warning about my voice. It's on the way out. I don't know what's going on. So if it goes, it goes. I'm not going through puberty again. Yes, US, Venezuela. President Trump, the State Department's put out a $50 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head. He's the leader of Venezuela. But the United States says he's completely illegitimate. They accuse him of being part of a massive drug cartel. President Trump on Thursday said that the US would consider land strikes next. So, of course, they've been intercepting these Venezuelan drug boats, careering through the Caribbean Sea, blowing them apart, sending their personnel, the sailors, into a red mist. I think 80-odd drug traffickers now have been blown into smithereens. To much controversy, by the way, from the left, who say, hang on a minute, we need some due process. These guys need to go into court. They need to have their day in front of a judge and so on. But President Trump's been saying, look, these are very bad people. They're trafficking cocaine and fentanyl into the United States. We're just going to blow them into smithereens. Anyway, today, President Trump took to Truth Social. He woke up, he had his muesli, he went on his phone and his laptop, and he said the airspace above Venezuela is now closed. So if you're an airline pilot, if you're a drug trafficker, if you're a human trafficker, do not fly above Venezuela. And it sparks massive fears, Alex, viewers and listeners, that a land invasion is imminent. So we are on war watch here in Washington, D.C. There are some, I think, 20-odd thousand sailors currently camped off the coast of Venezuela, US sailors, various warships as well. So it could happen any moment now, which kind of flies in the face of his MAGA voters. Of course, President Trump was saying, I'm the peace president, I don't want wars. MAGA voters were saying, yep, we don't want to get involved in Ukraine, don't want to get involved in Gaza, don't want to get involved in any other wars, no invasions in the Middle East, just keep ourselves to ourselves. So interesting response from the MAGA base. But the US government's response here, Alex, is that these are drug traffickers, Maduro's not a legitimate president, and if you want to earn yourself 50 million big ones, tell us where he is and where we can track him down in Venezuela.
Yeah, this is really astonishing, Ben, because, as you said, the president was, he's called himself the peace president. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize quite badly. We can see that from the amount he's trying to push this peace deal between Ukraine and Israel and Gaza. Do you think the MAGA base would forgive him if he went to war with Venezuela? Because it's a war on drugs. It's a war against, I guess, the culture. It's part of the culture war against the Democrats in some way, who have had this open doors policy to allow all these people. And I saw your footage of, was it about a month ago when you went to a part of America and you got those zombie fentanyl crisis happening. Do you think they'll forgive him based on that reason?
Yeah, I think, sorry, excuse my voice. I think President Trump really, apart from the Epstein situation, which has split the MAGA base, I don't think he can really do much wrong. When it comes to Venezuela, the other argument is, which to me maybe seems a bit more likely, it's kind of killing two birds in one stone, dealing with the drug issue, but also Venezuela is home to some of the biggest crude oil reserves in the world. So you get rid of a lefty leader who the United States doesn't see as legitimate because they say he rigged the 2024 elections. You get rid of the narco-terrorists and the drug traffickers, saving American lives, hundreds of thousands of American lives. And also, whilst you're there, as we saw in Iraq, why not? I'll have some of that crude oil as well. So I think the American public, especially the MAGA voters, would be more sympathetic with him this time around.
Indeed. Ben, what else have you got coming up on your show tonight?
We are going to be doing a very interesting piece on a Romanian guy called Dorian Puca. He's a very nice chap. He's twice been jailed for burglary in the UK, really top-standing character. He was jailed twice, deported twice from the UK, but he's now back living in West London, of course he is. He's driving a £185,000 Lamborghini. He's posting clips on social media of his nice Rolex watch. I'm sure all earned legitimately with a 9-to-5 job. And we're speaking to the Daily Mail journalist, the freelancer who did a piece for the Daily Mail today. Big spread. He doorstepped him at his West London home, so that'll be quite exciting as well.
Well, I can't wait to watch it. Listen, tune into The Late Show live tonight. You might be watching a war unfold before your eyes and learn about that very, very interesting story. Ben, I look forward to seeing you in about 15 minutes' time, mate. Thank you very much. Let's get back here to my panel because we'll go back to the front pages here. Let's go to this Sunday Express story, shall we, briefly, and then we'll catch up back with this because we won't have time to go through all of it now, but we will continue to talk about it because the Sunday Express is reporting families need wages of 71 grand. £71,000 to beat benefits. So hard-working families with 3 children have to earn 71 grand to bring in as much money as a similar household living entirely on benefits, a damning report claims. Steve, what should we make of this?
I mean, it's shocking, isn't it? It gets to the stage where most people like the idea of a welfare system being that safety net. And then the maths just don't stack up. It just shows that we've gone in the wrong direction. We've gone too far. I'm sure they've added in the tax to this. That's how much you need to earn to then be taxed to then, after tax, have the same that people getting on benefits, which is a sneaky way. It's like the gift aid way of making the number look even bigger, I suppose, isn't it? But even if you didn't do that, it would be shocking to look at the...
Who's the they in this?
It's Centre for Social Justice has done this report.
A think tank, a right-leaning think tank.
No, it's actually quite interesting. You know, there's lots of Labour MPs that support the Centre for Social Justice.
It was set up by Ian Duncan Smith, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's quite a neutral... Yeah, of course. But they've actually done a lot of hard work. And, of course, they did do this quite a good report on how to tackle the welfare spending, you know, spiralling spend. And they said that actually by various different reforms that Labour was going to take on, you could cut the bill by £7.9 billion. And Labour did indeed try to do that, but the backbenchers got on their way. And so, I mean, this is just basically rewarding non-working people, isn't it?
But it's not gospel, is my point. Other think tanks will come up with totally different numbers. Look how it's in inverted commas. You know, it's a quote. It's not a gospel truth.
All right. Well, look, lots more to talk about on that, of course. I've got a your say here. Penny said, OK, Alex, or somebody. We talk about the Chancellor. We know she lied. Can we ask why she has lied? I'll put that to Paul after the break. But coming up, of course, we're going to talk about the first day of the Your Party conference in Liverpool. Trust me, it is absolute circus territory. We'll be looking at that next. Stay with us.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Well, I said I'm getting a little bit delirious, and talking of delirious things, your party is getting quite delirious itself, and it's only on day one of its party conference. On page 8 of the Telegraph today, they're saying the inaugural conference of your party's descended into all-out war as its founding members have turned on each other already. Sorry, I'm finding this really funny. Zara Sultana refused. This is the co-founder and the co-leader of this party. She's boycotting her own party conference. That's after her allies were purged. Apparently, her allies have been purged by Corbyn. The former Labour leaders opened the conference with a call for unity.
So classic.
You just can't make it up. Sorry, it's just really getting to me, this story. By lunchtime, Miss Sultana... Is this a comedy sketch? By lunchtime, Miss Sultana had accused him, her co-leader, of leading a witch hunt. She turned up outside the venue in Liverpool for an impromptu... Can't get through this. An impromptu meet and greet, but refused to enter the building. Of course, we were denied entry as well. We were denied entry. We've got a lot in common.
Hell surprise, yeah.
Zara, if you fancy doing something useful at the time, we'll interview you, please. Come on to GB News. Steve, this is stuff you can't write. This is what like thick of it level craziness, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm willing to have discussions with some of the points of the left. I'm interested to hear them. But if you're of the left and you go on strike outside your own party, you've taken it too far. You're a parody of yourself. You can't have a conference if you don't have a name. Surely you've got to get things in the right order. They've done the vote on that.
No, they've got a few names, and Zara was very upset because she wanted a particular, I think it was like the lefty party, the left workers or something, right, was what she wanted to call it, but that wasn't even an option, so she was very upset about that. Let's not forget, by the way, 2 of the MPs have already resigned, and I think if they lose one more MP, they actually can't legally be called a party. So as Zara goes, that's it. It's just Corbyn on his own.
Well, you
with
know,
2 others.
Paul, I'm finding this highly entertaining. I mean, this for me, and there's other sort of these weird political parties in America that are like got hundreds of thousands of people but aren't real parties because they never get any elections, of course. They have these weird things where they've all got a chance to speak. They can all stand up and do a point of order. I've been watching some of the clips today. It's absolute bedlam.
It is bedlam. I mean, imagine that. You know, these are all the worst people that are from the left, all in the same room at the same time. They've got these...
Stop talking about Labour Party conference like that, Paul.
But this is the point. It's all the people who have left the Labour Party, the left of the Labour Party, and they all hate each other.
Where else might they be going? What other parties might they be going?
Well, I mean, a lot of the anti-Semites left after we kicked them out, went into your party, went into the Green Party, and people who are, the communists, the Trotskyists, the revolutionary socialists, all these people who loathe each other far more than they loathe the Tories or the capitalists or anybody else. It is an astonishing thing. You'd have to have an absolute heart of stone not to laugh, really.
I mean, I am genuinely finding this highly, highly, highly entertaining to watch because
But it's entirely predictable.
It was so.
If you observe the left over the last decades, they loathe each other.
Yeah, it really is, Steve. I mean, you think the Tory infighting's bad. At least they managed to have a political party, and they haven't managed to get a conference together, have they?
Yeah. Well, not even the Conservatives. They know how to infight.
Yeah.
It took decades for that schism to be so bad that eventually there had to be a referendum. Like they know they fall in line when it comes to election time. To be fair, the right in general of Western societies, the right knows how to just pay attention to winning, whereas the left wants to win the argument.
The schism on the right was about big issues, wasn't it? It was about Brexit or not, or aspects of the economy. This is about what Trotsky said in 1938 and whether he was right or not, whether Lenin was right to have a cat or not. It's his angels on pinheads stuff.
Zara is bonkers, by the way. This is all the chaos stems from her. It's totally
that's what I was
ego.
going to say, doesn't it? It does feel like there's a common denominator here. They all seem to resign over because of one person. That's Zara Sultan.
Yeah.
She wants a chat show. She wants a blog. She's going to be a celebrity.
Let's not forget that she launched without anyone else's consent.
And took all the money. Where's all the money gone?
£800,000. I think she's only given back £600,000 of it to the party. There's £200,000 sitting somewhere.
She did say to us, and that was at Glastonbury, that she's going, not just she doesn't want the crumbs anymore, she wants the lot of it. I think what she was
exactly.
I was going to say, there's got to be some sort of joke that's got Zara Sultana is a bit of a fruitcake. It feels like it works. Do you know what I mean? It's
well, fruit and nut, isn't it? Is the joke? I mean, who's the nut and who's the fruit? But I mean,
it's very deadpan there, Paul. Listen, your party officials, members, MPs are not here to defend themselves. I'm sure they'd vehemently deny everything we said and spoken about here tonight on the show.
We're not the ones that resigned over a toxic culture.
Well, there we go. Anyway, listen, before I won't get myself into too much trouble. All right, shall we go through the front pages one more time, shall we? Let's do that. The front page of the Daily Mail. Reeves must go for her budget lies, say voters. Express. Families need wages of 71 grand to beat benefits. Mirror. I'm a celeb exclusive. My heart sank when Jess wasn't there. The Independent. Putin playing with Trump. President's former aide warns. The Telegraph. PM signed off on black hole lies. The Sun, my hell with Jade's son. The Times, PM's attempt to rescue budget after Reeves' row. Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you, Ellie, Paul and Steve. Up next, it's The Late Show Live, hosted by the one and only superstar Ben. Leo, how's your voice, Ben?
It's getting there. We'll see if it survives the next 2 hours, Alex. Tonight on The Late Show Live, we are on war footing, or at least war watch. Will the United States launch an unprecedented land invasion of Venezuela? Elsewhere, we speak to the man who doorstepped a Romanian burglar who's been jailed twice in the UK, kicked out twice. Anyway, he's back. He's now driving a Lambo and flaunting his Rolex. See you in a sec.
It's the greatest cash prize of a Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.